Lesson 21, Standard Score. Example 4. In the Sierra College Elementary Statistics Student Survey, should the 43-year-old student be considered an outlier? Well, in order to answer the question with regards to being an outlier, we have to know how we define outliers. In this lesson, we've defined outliers as data values who have standard scores that are either -3 or lower, or +3 or higher. So in order to answer this question, we need to calculate the standard score for the 43-year-old student. Since the data we have is based off of a sample, we need to use the sample version of the standard score formula, which is given by t equals x sub I minus x bar divided by s sub x, where x sub I is the particular data value we're calculating the standard score for. In this case, we're interested in the 43-year-old student's standard score, so the value for x sub I in this formula will be 43. The values for x bar, the sample mean, and s sub x, the sample standard deviation, can be calculated on our TI-84 calculator. The data we're using is the Sierra College Elementary Statistics Student Survey, and the age of these students was given in question 4. We have already entered this data into our calculator and named the list Q4. So to calculate the mean and standard deviation for the data values in list Q4, we press Stat, right arrow to calculate, press Enter to select one of our stats, and then go Second, List, down arrow to place the cursor next to Q4, press Enter to select, and then Enter to execute. So now we can read the results off the calculator screen. The sample mean x bar is 23.3863636, and so on. We could use all those decimal places if we wanted, but if we're going to round off, we got to make sure we carry at least one more decimal place than we need accuracy in the final answer. So since standard scores, we want to carry the result to the nearest hundredth, we need to round off this in-between result to at least the nearest thousandth. So we will use a mean x bar of 23.386. S sub x, the sample standard deviation, can be rounded off to the same degree of accuracy. So here we'll use S sub x equals 7.409. Now that we have all the numbers we need, we can input them into the formula, starting with the age, 43, subtract the mean, 23.386, and divide that all by the standard deviation, 7.409. We could use our TI-84 calculator to help us. To calculate the standard score for the 43-year-old student, we'd press left parenthesis, 43, subtract 23.386, right parenthesis, divide by 7.409. Enter. So the result is on the calculator screen. Being that the standard score we just need to round off to 2 places after the decimal, we can write the result as 2.65. Now that we have the standard score, we can answer the question. Since the standard score for the 43-year-old student is 2.65, which is neither -3 or lower, nor +3 or higher, we would have to say that this student is not considered an outlier. Even though it's 2.65, it is +2 or higher, it does fall in the unusual range. So the 43-year-old student would be considered an unusually high age for an elementary statistics student at Sierra College, but it's not so unusually high to be considered an outlier. So to answer the question, we'd say no. In the Sierra College Elementary Statistics Student Survey, the 43-year-old student should not be considered an outlier since the standard score for their age is neither +3 or higher, nor -3 or lower.